So we all have that story about the little kid who's reaching for the hot plate, and you rush to stop them from doing that, and sometimes maybe you even yell. So that happened to me with my 1-year-old, and my yelling wasn't because I hate my child. In fact, it was because I love him and I wanted to make sure that he was safe. And so the Bible tells us in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 11 says, "My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction. For whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth, even as a father the son in whom he delighteth." If you really love your child, you're going to do whatever you can to protect them from the things that could hurt them. And because God loves us, when he chastens us, when he corrects us, it's because he loves us. And sometimes it takes kind of an eye of faith to trust that. As a matter of fact, it can be really, really difficult to accept reproof or rebuke when it comes to our personal lives. I remember working with a fellow missionary, and he would always come and ask me, and he would say, "Sister, we need to talk." And I hated those words, because next thing we would sit down and he would say, "What is wrong with my character?" That part wasn't too bad, because I had a whole laundry list of things to say to him. Well, you do this and this, and this is annoying, and you need to change this. But after he was done, and I would spew out all of these rebukes, he would sit there quietly and he would say, "Thank you." And I just felt inside me like I should ask him what I need to change in my life, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to know what I need to change, because it's hard to receive rebuke. It's hard to receive reproof. And over time, as he would do this every couple of months, eventually I came to the place where I'll say, "Brother, what do I need to change in my life?" And it reminds me of Psalm chapter 139. Where David says to God in verse 23, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." To come to God with that kind of attitude, to say, "God, I want you to tell me what is wrong with me." And even though it's going to hurt, even though it's hard for me to hear it, I know that when you tell me these things, it's because you love me. And hearing those kind of things sometimes doesn't come from the most friendly ears. Sometimes we hear rebukes from people who don't mean us well. But you know what it says in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, when it talks about those who are not saved in the end, it's because they did not receive a love for the truth. And it's receiving a love for the truth about yourself, loving God to tell you the truth about who you really are, and willing to say, "Okay, God, I see what you're showing me about me, and I'm willing for you to change that." So this is what Revelation chapter 3 is talking about when he talks to the church in Laodicea, verse 17. "Because you say, I am rich, and increased with goods, and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched, and miserable, and poor, and blind, and naked," and then he gives them counsel to come and buy. So God is saying, I want you to know the truth about your real condition. Not because I'm mean-spirited and I hate you, but because I love you. And the one that I love, I rebuke, I chasten, because I want to save you. So the question is, are we going to come to God and say, "Lord, search me. Show me what things are wrong in me." And not just for the sake of feeling miserable about myself, but then so that I can come to Jesus and I can receive from him the gift of salvation, so that he can transform my life and I can become the kind of Christian, the kind of person that you created for me to be originally. So search me, O God, and know my heart.